The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Chapter 12. The Search for the Wicked Witch. Part 2. Some of the monkeys caught the Tin Woodman and carried him high through the air. When they reached a place full of sharp rocks, they dropped him. The poor woodman fell a long way and hit the rocks so hard that he became bent and broken. He could not move or even make a sound. Other monkeys caught the Scarecrow and pulled all the straw out of his body and head with their long fingers. They tied his hat, boots, and clothes into a small bundle and threw it into the top of a tall tree. The other monkeys threw strong ropes around the lion. They wrapped the ropes many times around his body, head, and legs until he could not bite, scratch, or move at all. Then they lifted him up and flew to the witch's castle. There they put him in a small yard, surrounded by a tall iron fence so he could not get away.
"I can't run away."
But the monkeys did not hurt Dorothy at all. She stood holding Toto in her arms, watching sadly as her friends were taken away, and she thought her turn would come next. The leader of the winged monkeys flew up to her, stretching out his long hairy arms and showing his ugly grin. But when he saw the mark of the good witch's kiss on her forehead, he stopped at once and told the others not to touch her. "We cannot hurt this little girl," he said. "She is protected by the power of good, which is stronger than the power of evil. All we can do is carry her to the wicked witch's castle and leave her there." Carefully and gently, the monkeys lifted Dorothy in their arms and carried her quickly through the air. When they reached the castle, they set her down on the front step. Then the leader said to the witch, "We have done as much as we could. The Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow are destroyed, and the lion is tied up in your yard. But we cannot harm the little girl or the dog she holds. Your power over us is now finished, and you will never see us again." Then all the winged monkeys began to laugh and chatter as they flew up into the sky, and soon disappeared from sight. The Wicked Witch was both surprised and afraid when she saw the mark on Dorothy's forehead, because she knew that neither she nor the winged monkeys could hurt the girl. Then she looked down at Dorothy's feet and saw the silver shoes. She began to shake with fear, for she knew they had great magic power. At first, the witch wanted to run away from Dorothy. But when she looked into the girl's eyes, she saw how gentle and innocent she was, and that she did not know about the power of the silver shoes. So the witch laughed quietly to herself and thought, "I can make her my slave, because she doesn't know how to use her magic." Then she said to Dorothy in a harsh voice, "Come with me, and do exactly as I say. If you don't, I will destroy you as I did the Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow." Dorothy followed the witch through many beautiful rooms in the castle until they reached the kitchen. There the witch told her to clean the pots and kettles, sweep the floor, and keep the fire burning with wood. Dorothy quietly began to work, deciding to do her best, because she was thankful the Wicked Witch had not killed her. While Dorothy was busy working, the witch decided to go to the yard and put a harness on the cowardly lion, just like a horse. She thought it would be fun to make him pull her chariot whenever she wanted to ride. But when she opened the gate, the lion gave a loud roar and jumped at her so fiercely that she became frightened, ran away, and quickly shut the gate again. "If I can't put a harness on you," said the witch to the lion through the gate, "then I'll make you starve. You won't get any food until you do what I want." After that, she gave the lion no food at all. Every day at noon, she came to the gate and asked, "Are you ready to be harnessed like a horse?" And the lion always answered, "No. If you come into this yard, I will bite you." The lion did not have to obey the witch, because every night while she was asleep, Dorothy secretly brought him food from the cupboard. After he ate, he lay down on his bed of straw, and Dorothy lay beside him, resting her head on his soft, shaggy mane. They talked about their troubles and tried to think of a way to escape. But they could not find one, because the castle was always guarded by the yellow Winkies, who were slaves of the Wicked Witch and too scared to disobey her. Dorothy had to work very hard every day, and the witch often threatened to hit her with the old umbrella she always carried. But in truth, the witch didn't dare strike Dorothy because of the mark on her forehead. Dorothy didn't know this and was always afraid for herself and for Toto. One day, the witch hit Toto with her umbrella, and the brave little dog jumped at her and bit her leg. The witch didn't bleed, because she was so wicked that the blood in her body had dried up long ago. Dorothy's life became very sad when she realized it would be harder than ever to get back to Kansas and Aunt Em. Toto didn't mind whether he was in Kansas or the land of Oz, as long as he could stay with Dorothy. But he knew she was unhappy, and that made him sad too. The Wicked Witch wanted the silver shoes that Dorothy always wore for herself. She watched the girl closely to see if she ever took them off, hoping to steal them. But Dorothy loved her beautiful shoes and never removed them except at night or when she took a bath. The witch was too afraid of the dark to enter Dorothy's room at night, and she was even more afraid of water, so she stayed far away when Dorothy was bathing. In fact, the old witch never touched water or let water touch her at all.
"I'm afraid of water."
But the Wicked Witch was very clever, and at last she thought of a trick to get what she wanted. She put an iron bar in the middle of the kitchen floor and used her magic to make it invisible. When Dorothy walked across the floor, she couldn't see the bar, tripped over it, and fell down. She wasn't badly hurt, but one of her silver shoes came off. Before Dorothy could pick it up, the witch grabbed it and quickly put it on her own thin foot. The Wicked Witch was very happy her trick had worked. Now that she had one of the silver shoes, she owned half its magic power, and Dorothy couldn't use it against her even if she knew how. When Dorothy saw that one of her pretty shoes was gone, she became angry and said, "Give me back my shoe." "I will not," said the witch. "It belongs to me now, not to you." "You are a wicked creature," cried Dorothy. "You had no right to take my shoe." "I'll keep it anyway," the witch said, laughing at her. "And one day I'll get the other shoe from you too." This made Dorothy so angry that she grabbed a bucket of water nearby and threw it over the witch, soaking her from head to foot. At once the wicked woman screamed in fear, and as Dorothy watched in surprise, the witch began to shrink and melt away. "Look what you've done," cried the witch. In a minute I'll melt away." "I'm very sorry," said Dorothy, truly scared as she watched the witch melting before her eyes like brown sugar in water. "Didn't you know that water would destroy me?" wailed the witch. "Of course not," said Dorothy. "How could I know that?" "Well," said the witch, "in a few minutes I'll be gone, and you'll have the castle all to yourself. I've done many wicked things, but I never thought a little girl like you would melt me and end my evil deeds. Look out, here I go." As the witch said this, she fell down into a brown melted heap that spread across the clean kitchen floor. When Dorothy saw that the witch had truly melted away, she filled another bucket with water and poured it over the mess. Then she swept it all out the door. She found the silver shoe, the only thing left of the old witch, cleaned and dried it with a cloth, and put it back on her foot. Now that she was free to do as she wanted, Dorothy ran out to the courtyard to tell the lion that the Wicked Witch of the West was gone. They were no longer prisoners in a strange land.
"I'm coming,"